everyone, and welcome to Freshman Orientation. We're going to be talking about Twitter today. I'm Kate Drake, and I'll be your host. And we're just going to talk about a few little strategies that can help you build your brand and gain some followers on Twitter, which is a really fun platform that I think a lot of you are going to have fun with as you get to know it a little bit better. So let's jump in. Quick overview of what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about some of the terms that we use with Twitter. Each social network tends to have its own terminology and its own sort of language, and it's important to understand that as you're going forward. We're going to talk about how to optimize your profile, some quick strategies for gaining followers, taking advantage of some of the things that are trending on Twitter, and let's just hop in right into understanding our Twitter terminology. So you probably scratch your head sometimes when you see people talking about the pound sign or the @ sign or things like the RT, stuff like that. So quick little overview of what some of those terms mean. So the first one is just a tweet. Posts on Twitter are referred to as tweets because why would we call them the same thing that we do on other social channels, right? So just about everywhere else we call it a post. Here on Twitter, it's a tweet. And these are no more than 140 characters long. If it's been shared from someone else's profile, like someone else said something and you thought it was funny or cool or whatever and you wanted to pass it along, you'll see this abbreviation of RT, which means that it's been retweeted. And the reason you do that is because you want to show that it's not your original thought, right? You don't want to take credit for what someone else has said on Twitter. There's also a retweet button that you can use, and you can see that sometimes too, that people have done that retweet. Now, the 140 characters thing is interesting on Twitter. The character limit is staying the same, but Twitter recently announced that it's going to be excluding things like links from that 140 characters or people's usernames. So while you're still limited to 140 characters, you're getting a little more wiggle room that way, and they're slowly rolling that out over the next couple of months. So when you share a link to a video or an article or something, that won't count in your 140 characters. Now, this is a big one here on Twitter, hashtags. These are really the secret ingredient to trending on Twitter. They're used to categorize content, and it makes it easier for people to find the topic that they're interested in. I always like to say it's like at the library where you're going through the stacks of books and there's that Dewey Decimal System number on the spine of the book, right? That's like a hashtag. A hashtag basically makes it easier to find things in the giant library that is the internet, and to find your Twitter posts. So if you tweet something out and you don't put a hashtag on there, it's still there. It's just the only people who know exactly where to look for it will be able to find it. If you want people to be able to go to that catalog and look up all the tweets related to a certain issue or term, you want to stick a hashtag on it so that yours shows up in that subject matter, okay? So that's why we want to do a hashtag. It makes it so your post can be found, or your tweet can be found. And last of all is the @ sign. Now, this is an important one in Twitter because it's used to target individuals and allows your content to show up on their Twitter feed. So you can send it to someone by saying @ and their username. You're also going to see it show up when people are quoting someone or if they're talking to someone or things like that. So if you wanted to send me a tweet, for example, you would send it to @Kate Drake, which is, you're welcome to find me on Twitter if you want. It's K8 Drake, because Kate Drake was already taken. So anyway, so if you wanted to send me a tweet and say like, hey, I missed S5U, where's the recording, or something like that, you could send, you could do @Kate Drake and send that to me, and I would get notified that you had tweeted me something and I could reply to you. So very cool. So let's talk a little bit about how to optimize your profile on Twitter. Really, to make the most of your Twitter strategy, you want to have a developed profile. The keywords and the data that you use in this are going to make you more searchable online. And we call this social search optimization. You want to fill this out really well with good keywords so that those search engines that are out there will find your social channels and make those some of the top results for when people search for your business. So the first thing you're going to do is log into your Twitter account by going to twitter.com, and you'll be asked to enter your username and password. Now you can access your profile through a lot of the different Twitter apps and things that exist out there. But when you're making big changes like this on any social platform, I always recommend using your desktop or your laptop just because it's so much easier. You're going to be doing a little more typing, so it's easier this way. So you're going to click on your profile that's located on the left-hand side of your screen right here. And then your homepage will appear. It's going to look like this over here on the right. And once you're there, you can make any changes that you want to your profile. So some of the things that you're going to want to do to help optimize your profile is you're going to want to change your profile picture and your Twitter header. Now, if you've got Twitter service through Social5, we'll have helped you with this already, right? We'll have designed something for you. And part of that is why is we're trying to optimize that. But then the other thing you're going to want to do is hop in and add information about your business. You're going to want to add a business description, the location of your business, and the website address, right? Now, the business description, you only get 3 lines, so it has to be pretty tight. It's not like on Facebook where you get that giant profile that you have to fill out, right? So in a way, that's really nice because you don't have as much work you have to do. But you really want to make those 3 lines count. So try and get as many keywords or phrases in there as you can to talk about your business and explain what it is you do. So let's talk about gaining some followers. This is a really important part of building a following on Twitter. It's really kind of a hands-on process and really does require some social networking as you get started. So the first thing we're going to have you do is find your audience. So you're going to do this by searching for either competitors or trade organizations, attractions in your city, anywhere that people who might be interested in your business might also be interested in these other things, right? So you're going to come up here to the search bar and type in whatever it is you want to put in. Then you're going to pull up your competitor or your trade organization or your city attractions or whatever. You're going to click on their followers. So this right here is a Mexican restaurant here in a chain of Mexican restaurants here in Utah. They have quite a few people across, quite a few stores across the nation. Say we're a competing Mexican restaurant who wants to know who's following them. We come in and look at their followers, and then we go through and hit this follow button right here that you see. And when you click that you're following someone, that individual will receive a notification that lets them know that you've been following them, and some will follow you back. Now, why would they follow you back? Because they're interested in this Mexican restaurant. Chances are they're probably going to be interested in your Mexican restaurant as well, or they're interested in something that's going on in your city, or whatever it may be, right? They're in the same location and they're interested. A lot of times people follow you back because they want to know what you're posting and they're curious about you because you're following them, right? Now, sometimes people get a little weirded out by this and think it's creepy to go follow people or whatever, but really people, most people who are on Twitter and stuff are trying to gain more followers. So they're going to like it when you follow them. Okay, so don't worry about that. They're not going to think you're stalking them or something, right? They're trying to gain more followers and get a larger following that way. So another thing that you want to do is you want to take advantage of these things that trend on Twitter. And this is something you'll probably hear about a lot as time goes on. We talk about trending hashtags and things like that. So what we're urging you to do is look for opportunities to incorporate those trending hashtags into your tweet. These are going to be found on the lower left-hand side of your page. You can see them right here. And we've done a little pull out here to show what was trending on this particular day. So, and these change all the time. So look at those, see if there's something that relates to your business and tweet about it. Now, sometimes we can predict what's going to be trending. Coming up this summer, Olympics are going to be trending on Twitter, right? And there's going to be an official hashtag for the Olympics that you do all your Olympics related tweets about. This day, some different things were trending. Valentine's Day, Stanford, replace a letter, ruin a TV show. People play silly games on Twitter sometimes. So if you have something funny that you want to tweet out or whatever that fits into one of those, go ahead and do it. Now, the other thing is that we're producing your content for Twitter as well. And we're trying to use these hashtags, but we're going to be trying to use ones that are more consistent with your industry or whatnot. So if you're in real estate or mortgage lending or something, we would use hashtag real estate, okay? So there are some that tend to be a little more consistent on workhorses, and that way when someone searches for real estate on Twitter, your stuff pops up, right? But we also try to work these in here too. If we know that a holiday is coming up, a big sporting event, anything that's going to be a big national conversation, we try and write you some tweets about that. Now, by default, Twitter is going to display the national trends on your page for whatever country you may be in, right? If you want to get a more localized feel of what's going on, you can click on the change button that's shown right here, right next to trends. You can see it says change, and it will bring up nearby locations. Now, it pretty much only brings up major metropolitan areas. So for me, here at our office in Draper, Utah, my choices are Salt Lake, Las Vegas, Denver, all the major metro areas nearby, right? Which Draper is just a suburb of Salt Lake City, so that's what I would choose. But so if you're out in the middle of, you know, away from a lot of big metro areas, you're going to have to pick which one you want that might be closest to whatever works best for your business. And the other thing you can do is you can just leave it on national trends, and that's totally fine too. All right, well, that's all we have for today. Does anybody have any questions? You're welcome to put those either in the Q&A or in the chat, and feel free to ask whatever you'd like. I'll hang out here for just a couple minutes while we wait for some of those to stream in. Now, oops, sorry. One thing I will say is, you know, Twitter is still a powerhouse as far as social media goes. You know, it's been around for a while, but it's still very popular and still something that people use really frequently. I'd really encourage you to check out those hashtags. Just play around with them a little bit. You don't have to make it a huge stretch to fit with your business. Just see what it is that people are tweeting about. You don't need to tweet something unless you feel comfortable. And that's the other thing I would say about these trending hashtags is don't try and pigeonhole your business into there and, you know, force yourself to make a tweet about it. Just do it if it's natural. You know, nobody likes it when brands try and strong arm a tweet to bend it to their will kind of thing, right? Or if you don't belong in that conversation or whatever. So if you have something to say and it seems like it fits well, go ahead and do it. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions today. If you have any more, feel free to get in touch with us anytime, and you can watch this presentation again. It's going to be posted on our blog at s5u.social5.net. We'll be back next week to talk about LinkedIn basics. So feel free to tune in then, and until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.